I hear manners and respect, good evening, blessings, greeting this boy Uncle Sluggy, midweek, mindset, 3:35 p.m. on the nation's #1 station, Hot 95.3, and don't forget, 5,000 courses free, 5,000 courses free, 5,000 courses ski, Scott, what's the price?
Free.
Huh? 5,000 courses free.
Yay.
5,000 courses free. Over 5,000 courses free. Scott, what's the price?
FREE.
Huh? Bang, bang, bang. NTI.org.bb. Over 5,000 free courses. Like I always say every Wednesday, we want to take positive people and make the popular. You know what I mean? And not try to make popular people positive. This evening on Maybe Mindset, we can have a chat with a guest. Took a lot of her bio, got some deep things on there.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
We gotta have some conversations about everyone. If you're outside, again, messages are ready. Everybody on Dapatas locked on. Uncle, I want to hear this conversation today. Trust me, turn up the radio, stand right there. Don't do nothing. We can have a great conversation today. Everyone locked on it out of seat. Messages already. Big up on Short Hill, Melrose, Jackson. I loving it. Beards, St. George. Who know that I had a place near Beards, St. George? I never hear about Beards, St. George. I get a message. Uncle Sluggy, we live in Beards, St. George. We always locked on. We don't know what Beards, St. George is.
Yeah, neither do I.
You know what I mean? But it's all love. You know what I mean? It's all love from Scott the Rock and myself. We really appreciate. We love that one. Saying the name Scott. Tell them a little about our guest today because we have to get down to this conversation.
Well, born and raised in Stamford, Connecticut, Alicia C. Cobb is an award-winning self-taught visual artist, body painter, mentor, aspiring community leader, and teaching artist specializing in social emotional learning through visual art. Her biggest inspirations are connection, transformation, emotion, nature, and the human body. Her original artworks can be found on many surfaces, including but not limited to canvas, walls, and people. Alicia was featured on Good Morning Barbados for her fine body art in 2015. She worked alongside the Barbados Youth Service on 2 occasions between 2015 and 2017 to showcase how arts integration inspires creativity and stimulates academic interest. In 2022, Alicia co-facilitated a 3-part mural workshop hosted by the National Cultural Foundation, the NCF, alongside local artists Don Small and Neville Legal. She was also a keynote speaker during an artist talk for the fine art students at Barbados Community College. She is certified in therapeutic art and currently serves as chairman of the Bridgeport Arts and Cultural Council and the DDSD Special Events and Marketing Committee. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good evening. Come close to the mic, Match Box here, good?
Okay, yep.
Good evening. Just want to tell everyone about modern art and ideas. Modern art and ideas. This course is designed for anyone interested in learning more about modern art, contemporary art. You will look at art through various themes, places, and spaces. Art and identity, transforming everyday objects and arts and society. Each week starts with a video that connects works of art from the museum, modern arts collection to the theme. I love it. See that throughout this course, you will discover how arts represent place or take inspiration from their environment. We can have a chat about that for sure. Throughout this course, you will discover how artists represents place and takes inspiration from their environment. Create works of art to express, explore, and question identity. These art still we can have a conversation about that. Use everyday objects to challenge assumptions. Scott, is your discourse? Use everyday objects to challenge assumptions. Well, we all like a challenge about what constitutes a work of art and how it should be made and respond to social, cultural, and political issues of their time through works of art. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yes, thanks for coming on. Being ready my ring. Alicia Cobb, so you were raised in Connecticut, following with Barbados all your life?
Barbados? No, I'm visiting.
You are?
I wish I'd been in Barbados.
So hold on, were you here for so far?
I've only been here for a few days, so this is day 3 for me, and I'll be here until next Tuesday.
How you love me to be in son?
I love Barbados. This is my.
It's not a little hot?
No.
Oh,
No.
you're special indeed.
Loving it. Well, we take it for granted. You got 365 days of summer. So I guess we take it for granted.
No, I love the heat. I mean, everybody's complaining about it, and I was extending my summer by coming here because it's entering fall where I am. So
Nice.
Well, no, so you are a trained visual artist, self-taught.
Self-taught.
Is what got you into to visual art? How did this journey start with you on visual art?
I was born a visual artist. Most artists will tell you that they knew that very early on. For as long as I can remember, I've been creating, but I want to say it really, I think, came to head when I was younger and my parents got divorced. And it was kind of my way of therapy. That's the way I expressed myself, through the emotions of my parents separating. And I kind of just sat and drew for hours. That's kind of the way that I express myself. And then, when I was going through my own divorce 20 years later, I revisited art because I remembered what it did for me then. And shortly thereafter, I pursued it professionally because people started asking me if I painted kids' rooms and did parties. And I was like, I guess people want to pay me for this. So I started saying yes. And I've been a professional artist now for almost 9 years.
Wow.
Oh, 9 years. I
Yeah.
love it. No, I write that. You did work in Barbados with the Youth Service, and how did that came about, and how was your experience working for Barbadian youth?
I loved it. They're not that different from the youth that I work with in back home. You know, I work with a lot of at-risk youth in the neighborhood, in the community that I'm in, and the neighborhood and community that I'm from. And it was very similar experience. Of course, culturally there's some differences here, but the kids were really receptive to what I was doing with them. And I was working alongside my friend Markeisha Ali, who is she is Bayesian, so she's here, she's native to the island. And so I was working alongside her. She was teaching English and I was teaching visual art. And identity was one of the things that we were doing, and because we were basically doing affirmation art, helping them to see the positives in who they are, finding their strengths, those things down, and creating them through visual art. So it was a very, very beautiful experience for me.
No, I love that. See that you're pushing the message of arts and art integration stimulate creativity. Why do you strongly believe that art integration is so important in stimulating creativity?
I believe it because it was true for me as a child, and it continues to be true for me as an adult. If I did not have visual art and music specifically as a youth, I don't think I would have been able to function in math and English and all these academic courses. It's like people need the ability to be able to creatively express themselves. It can't all be academic, it can't all be business. It has to be, people, especially one of the reasons why I specialize in social emotional learning, especially back in the US, is because there's this notion that we're changing their minds or training them to be certain people when they grow up, but they are who they are. They're meant to be who they are, and it's just a matter of guiding them through that. So for me, art helped me to find my voice and the way that I operated in the world, and I believe that to be true for everybody on some level, but especially for youth.
No, I absolutely agree. And when you say art, just for the persons outside listening, do you mean one particular type of art?
I mean all forms of art. I am.
Oh, you do. You mean
I am,
all?
yes, all forms of art. So I am particularly a visual artist.
Yes.
So I'm a painter, a body painter. I paint canvas. I paint murals. That is my form. I also do some creative writing, but I'm talking about creative writing. I'm talking about music, dance, instruments.
So this for everybody listening, and this is for just one
every
particular
form
group.
of art. Every form of art. Because even though I'm a visual artist, I'll be honest, dance is something that I love to watch. I myself am not a dancer, but I love watching dancers do what they're able to do, which is one of the reasons why bodies are an inspiration for me with my art. To be able to see my art moving is a very special thing.
No, I love that. Would you say all art have a similar thing in it that helps you become successful? Is there a similar theme or process in all art? And is that the reason why youth in art especially be successful in academics? Because they hear you take it into academics, into creativity, into identity, and these all things that we may struggle in some form, whether it's academic on some level, whether it's trying to be creative on some level. You mentioned creative writing, dancing, all of these things are the creative process, whether in academic in school, trying to focus on your studies. Then you mentioned identity, which is something hard for people. That's a whole other discussion because of identity on any form. You know what I mean? Just knowing who you are, like this or not, or just like it because everyone like it. You get me? So is there a similar thing in all forms of art? that helps you develop?
I think so. I think so, and I think it depends on the youth. I think one of the things that, especially back in the US, one of the things that I noticed is our education system for a very long time has been very streamlined.
Mhm.
Like all kids are learning the same thing in the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
way, but their brains don't work the same. I know my brain didn't work the same as a lot of the kids that I was in class with, and I
Mhm.
knew that I needed to be visually stimulated, and I needed to color or paint in order to stimulate the left side of my brain, which needed to go in and read these long paragraphs.
Yeah.
And so for me, I know it was true for me and the kids that I work with, right? Some are like, Miss, I'm not an artist, I can't draw. You don't have to be an artist to draw. And I think this is what happens is this notion that, oh, they go straight into thinking that it's supposed to look perfect or it's supposed to look a certain because society has done that to them. It's just about expression.
Well, that's not the aim or the
It's
focus.
not the aim.
focus
It's not
there.
for me. When I work with these kids, it's not my aim or focus is to get them to creatively express themselves in a way that feels comfortable for them, whether it be through visual art, creative writing, music. So if it's not visual art, because some of them are not into drawing, let's find the form of art that does speak to you. And for some of them, it's not always art. Some of them are very left brain, so they're more into math and science, but there's still art integrated into those subjects as well. So I think the truth is every form of art reaches every person, starting as youth
Mhm.
in some way, shape, or form. It's just a different one for different people because we're all very individual.
Yes, facts. Is there anything different or unique you notice about our youth while working with them? Maybe the difference in what are some of the differences in cultures and how we learn, how we grasp things? Is there anything you notice different about us or Barbadian children?
I feel like here, there is a level of discipline that I don't observe back home. So that the students, the kids here are very, very polite.
Hold on.
This has
Hold
been
on,
my
I
experience.
know, pause. No, listen, right? Listen, it's mine as well. Like, I see man who's coming and say, like, my experience. We they're saying that my experience with you. That don't be the public experience. Public experience of the
Complete
youth,
opposite.
or the public opinion on youth, especially in Barbados, right now, is the dreadest thing you will ever hear. But what you there saying, no, like Scott will tell you these things on air. We bring these children on radio. The show now, look how much positive they bring, but still the general consensus is how indisciplined we are. But when it's time in front of children, always get cooperation. And people will be saying because it's me, but here you are, you was a stranger to them. And then you coming in and tell us about that experience. But you said you find that it's more disciplined.
Yeah, every time I've worked with the youth here, they've been disciplined. The manners. I mean, everybody's polite to me, and it could be because I'm a visitor, but also when I'm observing from a distance, I'm seeing the same thing. When I'm walking down the street in local neighborhoods, when I'm, as a visitor, I'm watching the kids, and in my mind, they are polite. That's my experience. I feel like it was a pleasure to work with the kids here. And it's the pleasure to work with my kids back home as well. It's a very different thing culturally. I have a different opinion on youth than most people do. I am a mom myself. Both my kids are in their 20s now, so I don't have little ones anymore. But I believe that the reason why people struggle with the youth right now is because they're not listening to them. They're so caught up.
Hurt some feelings.
And as one of the people in that generation, I'm gonna hurt some feelings. It's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I got you back.
As part of the generation,
Yes,
who came before them,
yeah,
and is conditioned to believe things a certain way. My kids have schooled me and shown me something different. And the difference is I'm open to what they have to tell me, because the truth is, they're gonna have to take care of me and the people before me someday.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be fighting with them about what they.
Or we can't afford to fight with them.
I mean, they are who they are, and I am who I am. We have to give them space and grace to be exactly who they are. It's not our jobs to tell them who to be. It's our jobs to guide them to being exactly who they are. And I have used visual art as a means to do that with my kids and kids beyond my kids. So.
No, I love it. I see that you certified in therapeutic arts. Did that came about from you searching for something, or it just happened to be a subject you like, or a career path you like? Or did that journey come about through your process of learning therapeutic art? What did you discover that you didn't know before that was alarming to you? Anybody a lot of things.
I mean, it is a lot of
We
things,
got
but
time, we got time, we got time.
but therapeutic art, again, art is a therapy for me. It's been something that has helped me to heal, helped me to find myself, find my voice. And so in using those methods with kids, and I use different forms of therapy, creative writing is one of them.
Mhm.
A lot of kids don't know how to verbally express what they're feeling or thinking. But I might be able to get them to express it in a short poem or in a sketch or a painting, right? Might not be literal, but this is the way that they're getting their emotions out. And what I discovered in using therapeutic art in my curriculums is that kids feel safer with me.
Mm.
Kids open up to me. Kids will share with me things that they might not have shared with the teachers that I'm working alongside. They may share things with me that they haven't even shared with their family. And so I become a safe space for them to express themselves and share exactly what they're feeling and thinking. And there's a healing that comes with that, not just for them, but for me as well, knowing that I am giving them a safe place to be themselves. And it's a non-judgmental thing. And the therapeutic art has been a big catalyst for that.
I love it. Seeing art from a therapeutic standpoint, but using that to help children certainly is the pathway and all the arts.
Mhm.
And as much as we know it, I'm sure everyone knows how therapeutic art can be, and I think that you extend to dance and everything, creative work and everything, how therapeutic it can be. I think we still need to do it much more. I'm here to say just know that the youth don't know how to express themselves, and this helps. Why is it important for youth to be able to express themselves, and how early do you think we should implement these things? Is it a stage where they're too young or too far gone?
I think we should start implementing it right away. The moment a child can hold a crayon in their hand, don't let them eat the crayon, but let them start to express themselves. It's a tool for them to get their feelings out. And for a baby who doesn't speak, they cry.
Yeah.
They know how to express themselves differently. But if you start them early, they learn a modality very early on in a way to express themselves, right? Are they ever too far gone? Absolutely not. I have seen kids who come to me as teenagers, almost in their early 20s. And even I've worked with senior citizens that I'm told, barely talk to anybody. But the moment I come in with canvas and paint, they open up. So I don't think anybody's ever too young. I mean, as long as they can grasp something to draw with, I think they're old enough. I mean, you can't give it to an infant, but as soon as a child is, old enough to realize that they have the capability to do something, to create something, I think it should start as early as possible and as late as possible too. So that's the best way to answer that.
I love it. I love it. Do you think that the arts are so successful because of how much fun they are?
Yeah, there's an element of fun in art. There definitely is. As a professional artist, I can tell you, I love what I do. I get up every day knowing that I'm serving purpose and I love what I do. It's not all fun. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. One of the things that you talked about earlier with the course that's offered is having to look around you and absorb the environments and the community around you, addressing political matters. I mean, I'm a US citizen. There is a whole lot happening right now. If anybody, and I know you all are probably more tuned into the news where I live than I am. Watch the news back home. It's depressing. The things that are happening in my country right now are depressing, downright, right? I am somebody, when we talk about identity, I am biracial. So I come from parents where my mother is white, my father is black. That in of itself, growing up as a biracial person, put me in the middle of this. What are you? And that was always a question, so it's been something I've been exploring my whole life. What is my identity around race? Because society has made race this thing that all of us have to identify with. We put ourselves in boxes. And I remember filling out applications. I remember filling out applications, and when you fill out applications back home, you had to actually check off, are you white? Are you black? Are you Asian? And I always was like, why do I have to answer this? I don't understand why it's important, but it's statistics, it's capitalism, it's money. There's a lot of stuff that's happening there. And myself, I've used art as a way to express my feelings about a lot of the things that are happening um, around me and affecting people that I love. You know, Black Lives Matter, which is a movement that started, you know, it's been around for a long time. I don't think it's a hashtag or movement. I think it's always it's not trending, and it bothers me when I see people like putting it up as you know, trending. And so I've created some visual art specifically speaking to issues that are personal to me, and I think I push my students to do the same because these things are affecting them directly. And a lot of times people don't ask them, hey, how you feeling about this? Because honestly, I'm gonna tell you, we talk about kids having a hard time expressing themselves. Adults, the reason why kids have a hard time expressing themselves is because the adults who brought them up don't know how to express themselves. And it's really no fault of their own. It's like a generation to generation thing. All right, we don't have the ability. I don't blame my parents. Now, you know, as an adult becoming a parent, I understand that my parents didn't have the tools to give me the ability to express myself that way. So I ended up through teachers, through mentors, through people in the community that brought me up. That's where I was able to get what my parents were not able to give to me. And so that's why organizations like NTI are so important, creating these opportunities for people to learn these ways and modalities that they might not otherwise have access to.
But you think that we as artists and creatives have more responsibility because of how much our environment influences our art. If you're doing music, eventually you can sing something and have a wrong. Even if you think you put in the thing there, it's still coming from a thought that was created from somewhere. So you think that puts more responsibility on us?
Well, that's why I said it's not all fun. You know, I know that a lot of responsibility comes with me as an artist. I get visions sometimes that are extremely
So
disturbing.
that's the part you mean that
Yeah.
is not fun. That's
Yeah, no, and even thinking back to a quote, Nina Simone, bless her, has a very famous quote, and I'm not quoting her verbatim, but one of the quote that she says is, an artist's duty, as far as she is concerned, is to document the times that they are living in.
Yeah.
And that's very true.
Yeah.
And if you are living in, all of us are we're in history right now. We got some historical things happening right now. We're living in it. How do we document it? So 100 years from now, if Earth is even still here, 100 years from now, they go back to the art, the books, the visual art. That's what they go back to find history. That's where they go. Nobody's alive left. There's nobody alive at a certain point to tell the stories, and people who don't express themselves, the story stops. Right? But if you create art, whether it be visual, books, those are things that they continue to live on even after an artist dies. And so, yes, there's a huge responsibility in being an artist, and no, it's not all fun. And if a person understands, like I know for myself, when people look at my work and say, oh, it's beautiful, thank you, but it's not mine. I understand I'm just a vessel, and this is stuff that's coming through me. So I don't even take full credit for the work that comes out of me. It's a very spiritual experience for me. And I believe that, you know, that's what it's coming from a higher place. And I'm just a vessel that is coming through and putting out into the world. And I think it's a responsibility of artists to put their gifts into the world, because we weren't given gifts to keep them to ourselves.
Alicia Cobb, Midweek Mindset, every single Wednesday at 3:35 p.m. NTI.org.bb, over 5,000 free courses. Over 5,000 free courses. Go on now, just your email to sign up. It won't cost you anything. You're not asking too many questions. It's very simple and easy to sign up. And every single course is free. Now, Alicia, I want you taking a tune or two from Scott. When you come back and wrap up, I just want you to express why it's important for a nation, any nation, to make sure they have the youth doing art from as young as possible. I just want, when you're wrapping up, you to tell us the importance of having our youth involved in art in some form from a very young age, and why that is imperative if you want to be better as a nation.
Get yourself
bless me. Take your dirty mind off of me, take your dirty mind off of me, cause the more them talk and the more them chop, bless me. Inside Midweek Mindset right here on Hot 95.3 FM. Big shouts to the NTI family. Sluggy's inside. Alicia Cobb is also inside. Sluggy asked you a question before we went to that tune from our little Rick. You sound like you have a lot to say, but you look like you have a lot to say.
Yeah.
So let's go.
I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as possible. Our youth are the future of the world in any nation. And if we do not give them the ability to express themselves creatively, in addition to educating them academically, there's an imbalance. And we can already see the effect of that imbalance on a daily basis. I want everybody to take a moment to think about themselves when they were a child, right?
Mhm.
When you were a child and you felt misunderstood, or you felt like somebody wasn't listening to you, or you wanted to express yourself and didn't quite know how to do it. And if you're an artist, later on, you found that drawing or playing an instrument or singing or writing or dancing was the thing that did that for you. You were a child once. We all were. And we remember what it was like to not have the ability to express ourselves. Now, this is not the case for everybody, but if you have a youth right now that is a child, a grandchild, a student of yours, somebody that you're mentoring, and you see them struggling, the truth is they probably have something to say and don't quite know how to do it. Art is always a really great way to start in helping them to do that. It literally saved me. I can say that firsthand. I can testify to the fact that my elementary school art teacher saw something in me in a time when my parents were struggling to see themselves, let alone me and my brothers. And my art teacher spent a little extra time with me, and she encouraged me, and she said there was something special about me. And I was like, maybe there's something special about me if this lady is telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
But picture it for real, all that frustration building up in you. Nobody's listening, and it's just building and building and building. Art could be the perfect outlet for
Yeah,
real.
the dancing toe, shoulder toe, coffee toe.
Play music to
Yeah,
express
yeah.
yourself.
It is, and I want everybody to
Yeah.
think to even 3 years ago when COVID hit, everybody turned to art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What did you do?
Yeah.
What did you do, right? When you were locked in the house, what did you do? You turned on the TV. That's art, right? There's writers behind that. There's actors behind it. Those are forms of art. You listen to music. Music, I don't know anybody that doesn't listen to music in some form to help them through their day, whether it's background noise, whether it's to get through a workout, whether it's to actually paint. I listen to music while I'm painting. If I'm painting without music, I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Right.
So I always have music. So every form of art, dance is something that I watch to inspire my art. So even earlier when you talked about that course about going out into the world, all forms of art inspire my art.
Mm-hmm.
And if that stuff didn't exist, I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do. And that's why it's so important to give youth those tools early on, because in order for us to have a balanced future, these kids have to know that they are safe to express themselves. And let's not keep calling it disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they're just being honest, and we need to give them the space and grace to do that. Just because we didn't have it doesn't mean we cannot give it to our children.
Alicia Cobb, award-winning self-taught visual artist, body painter, and teaching artist specializing in social, emotional learning. Remember, people, modern art and ideas. This course is absolutely free. This course, you will discover how artists represent place and take inspiration from their environment, create works of art to express, explore, and question identity. Use everyday objects to challenge assumptions about what constitutes a work of art and how it should be made, and respond to the social, cultural, and political issues of their time through work of art. This is beginner level, offered by the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA. Museum of Modern Art. It takes approximately 13 hours to complete. And this one of the reviews is, I very much enjoyed this course to learn a great deal about what it encompasses in art, what was going on in the artist's minds when doing their art and pieces, what is considered modern art. And Lisa, quickly wrap up with you. If you was to describe what social emotional learning is and why is it important to you, give us.
Social emotional learning is when you implement a human
Yes.
into the process of learning.
Yes.
We are humans. I actually like to say we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and the
Yes.
human experience comes with emotion. And we have to socialize our children in a certain way, and they need to know it's okay and safe. And social emotional learning is essentially embodying an entire human, not just their brain, but also their emotions, also their spiritual. Like, we are balanced, we have spirit, we have emotions, we have all these things, we have the physical, and it's bringing all of those things together and making it a priority along with the academics.
I absolutely love it, and everything you were saying, I agree with it. I just came back from London, and a lot of the history that I took 10 children to London in Virgin Active Daily, National Peace Corps Director, shout out to Minister Corey. A lot of the history and the teachings, Scott, and about the culture is all through art. Whether the people would let me listen to music that tell us about what was happening in the 70s in London, or whether we was passing buildings and we seeing the structure of the buildings, where you would know this is the Victorian time, because this shape is only from the Victorian time, which is a certain person, certain monarchy. This one is from this person time, so you could tell by the shape of the building. You could tell by how something is painted, what time it come from. The painters used to use this particular style, or that each painting look different. And an artist, not art teacher like yourself, you look at this painting and say, well, no, this is from that time because they all use this particular technique. Or you won't see it, you know what I mean? You won't see it, but when they told us, we didn't see it. So all these things we were learning, we just through art. Obviously, there wasn't no one there, and the people that were there, that are there, no wasn't wrong at the time. So they learned from. It was oral, with someone telling them, and someone telling their great grandma, their great grandma pass it down, and them themselves learn from certain arts. You know what I mean? So that's why art is important, because certain things you could learn. Oh, this is what this happening. Oh, this happened at this time. This happened before. Look at them paintings showing the horses, people in the street fighting. Oh, we had riots in the 1800s too. He wasn't there, the boy that wrong, then in the wrong now, but you learn from the paintings. That way is so important, man. So I appreciate you for coming through. I appreciate you for having the conversation with us. Thanks for answering my questions. I know I answered a lot, but I really love answering our questions. See people's mindset, where they come from, and how they think, why they think, the way they think, and why it's important for us to see things from your perspective as a professional as well, not just personally, but also giving your professional opinion. And they have a perfect marriage between both your personal opinion and professional opinion, then from experiences and things you went through. Thanks for sharing that with Scott Rock and myself.
Thank you.
Passing through the Midweek mindset. You are on Hot 95.3, the nation's #1 station. Remember, NTI.org.bb, over 5,000 free courses be changing the way we learn, changing mindsets. See you back here next week, Wednesday at 3:35 for another Midweek mindset. Scott Rock, manners and respect.
Big up, brother.
Keep the
Before we
areas
go
rocking,
to Alicia, is there anywhere I can go to check out some of your art?
Yes.
Or maybe if I want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the easiest way, Google, everybody has Google. If you Google Art Simplicated, that's the name of my business. It's literally ART, Simplicated, so simple and complicated merged. SIMPLICATED. If you Google Art Simplicated, you can find my IG, you can find my Facebook, and I have a website, artsimplicated.com.
Nice.
Artsimplicated.com. Artsimplicated.com. You make sure to check that out. Once again, thanks for coming through. NTI.org.bb. This is your boy Uncle Slugger, the nation's #1. I'm out.
95.3. With everything.